In this course, we'll examine 12 qualities I think are vital for care. We'll discuss integrity and its importance. Honesty will be our next topic, emphasizing self-honesty next. Perseverance will also be covered, highlighting its power to overcome challenges. We'll study wisdom, distinguishing facts from truth. We'll also talk about personal responsibility, promoting a buck stops here mindset. Humor will be discussed, showing its role in character development. Flexibility will be defined, stressing its increasing importance. Patience will also be discussed, underlining the balance between waiting and working. Confidence will be part of our study, focusing on self-inspiration as a leadership skill. Good health will be explored, linking physical and mental strength to character. Lastly, we'll tackle achievement, explaining how it's truly measured by oneself. We're now discussing another important trait. This trait is not always positive, but it's vital. As you explore and build your inner character traits, this one may be the most needed. Ancient thinkers viewed it as essential for success. This trait is courage. There's a book about Congressional Medal of Honor winners. It's very emotional and powerful. It shares stories of Americans who risked their lives for their country, often to save others, not just to defeat enemies. Reading it, you see they conquered their fear of death to do what was necessary. These medal winners were brave, but does overcoming fear of death equal courage? Some people break laws and face death unafraid, but I wouldn't call them brave. Others take foolish risks that endanger themselves, and others, but they aren't brave. Even a hungry donkey keeps eating despite being hit, showing fearlessness but not bravery. We may sense differences between such acts and those of Medal of Honor winners. These differences show us real courage. Greek philosopher Aristotle defined courage well over 2,000 years ago. A truly brave person isn't fearless, but fears the right thing at the right time in the right way. What does this mean? Let's examine some common fears today to understand better. Many people are scared about their financial future due to economic changes impacting millions. For instance, a company employing 10,000 people might only need 2,000 in 10 years. People have long associated their identities with their jobs, which also provided health benefits and retirement funds. Now these job relationships are shifting as companies outsource work overseas. Maybe it's out of need or to increase profits. Either way, job loss fear is now affecting white-collar workers in a new way. What else scares us? Many worry about their health due to lack of exercise, unhealthy food, or harmful substances in the air, food, and water. I believe people are more scared of these things than past disease epidemics or unsanitary conditions. They also fear the costs if they or a family member falls ill or becomes disabled. So, financial and health-related fears are our main worries. But the third fear isn't as easy to identify. It's a feeling that things aren't as good as before, that we've lost control on some societal level. There's a sense that constant changes, big and small, shift society's foundations in a negative direction. Remember, a brave person doesn't never fear, but fears the right thing at the right time in the right way. Let's see if our fears fit this. I think what truly scares people is the feeling of helplessness, that they've trusted someone or something and now they can't do anything. But remember, you're never really helpless. Feeling helpless is something we should refuse to accept. You're not just a victim of circumstance, you always have options to get back on track. It requires courage to accept this, as it means taking responsibility for your future. This responsibility should be accepted because no one will do it for us. Most fears stem from feeling helpless or being a victim. But is this really a valid perspective? To me, it seems like being afraid of the dark. The best action is to face it. After all, the people who built this country weren't helpless. They faced obstacles we can hardly imagine today. I'm not saying we should all sit around a campfire sharing George Washington stories, but we should realize every generation has faced insecurities and triumphed over them. Only in recent decades, people started expecting a life without hardship. But adversity isn't something to fear. It's something to expect, prepare for, and overcome. A truly courageous person experiences fear differently. If you're brave, your fears aren't about what could happen to you. Your fears are about not living up to your ideals, reacting instead of acting, not seizing opportunities within reach. A truly brave person doesn't fear what might happen next week or next year. They fear not meeting their own standards. A truly brave person fears the urge to control others and leads by aiding others to reach their potential. They fear doing something that could cause shame for themselves or their loved ones. Bravery means fearing to value appearances over reality, impressions more than communication, and self above dependence. But there's one thing they fear most. Have you seen a deer frozen in car headlights? A brave person is afraid of being caught like that. They dedicate a part of their life to ensuring it never happens. In short, as someone once said, a brave person fears only fear itself. Honesty and integrity are straightforward qualities of strong characters. Speak honestly. Mean your words. Act on your words when you say you will. That's integrity. A direct link between words and actions. Don't lie. Speak truthfully. Though honesty and integrity are clear traits of strong characters, they're hard to find. It's always been this way. Demos, an ancient Greek philosopher, looked for an honest man but found none. I've met many honest people. However, compared to the number of unethical people I've encountered, these traits are still rare. Telling a lie used to be serious before lawsuits and legally binding contracts. Accusing someone of lying was also grave. Today, a lapse in integrity might mean involving lawyers. Previously, accusing someone of lying could lead to a duel. Dishonesty was taken as an insult needing instant redress. Everyone knew lying carried big risks, so it demanded reckless courage. But such risk doesn't exist today. Some people lie without thinking about it. Most people know when they're being lied to, which can be frustrating, but they accept it. Few duels occur today. To understand this, we can compare people's views on lying and money. In the past, you either had money or not. When the bill arrived, you paid or faced an immediate problem. You either cleared your debt or were broke. Some people would even end their lives if they couldn't pay their debts. But it's different now. Many people don't feel responsible for paying their debts promptly. Nowadays, we can delay payment by making minimum credit card payments. We can avoid the pain of having to sacrifice something to own another thing. We can delay paying off credit card debt forever. However, the interest rate is high and the balance can increase rapidly. Many people don't consider this. They are ready to pay the price to get what they want immediately. There are times when it's hard to tell the truth. This is similar to the pain of paying a large bill. We often use the same language to discuss debts and honesty. We talk about someone's word being valuable. We discuss accountability and having to explain our actions. What does it feel like to be questioned about something you're not proud of? How do you deal with it? How do you explain something that makes you uncomfortable? It's comparable to deciding whether to pay off your entire credit card balance each month. Paying the full balance may involve some discomfort and sacrifice. You might have to tough it out. You know it will simplify your life in the long run, but it will hurt now. I'm not sure if you can charge a yacht on a credit card, but I know people who would try. Paying in full can be painful, so it often seems easier to pay the minimum and postpone the discomfort. It's simpler to put off the truth about your finances. But eventually it will come back to affect you. Here's advice for maintaining good moral character. Pay off your ethical debt. Remain truthful at all times. Face reality as soon as it presents itself. Resist the urge to lie right away. Don't take it lightly. Treat it like a kitchen fire you need to extinguish before it burns down your house. When you run out of ethical capital, you'll lose sight of your path. Lying is similar to buying on credit in that both are addictive. Both seem easy at first and leave you wanting more. Any addictive behavior offers a temporary solution to a problem. But over time, these solutions become more complex. Lying can get very complicated, You need a good memory to lie well because you always have to maintain consistency. I'm sure we've all faced such a dilemma. Shakespeare was correct in saying that lies weave a tangled web. Am I suggesting you should always tell the whole truth? If someone asks how you are, should you honestly list all your ailments? No. I don't mean to encourage dishonesty. Sometimes bending the truth is necessary, which I'll highlight later. However, calculated lies, intentional deceit, and lying for personal benefits should be avoided. But dishonesty can be tempting, so I'll elaborate more on it. I aim to differentiate between harmless deceits and ones that are harmful and toxic. Boasting, bragging, or exaggeration are common. They're mostly harmless unless they define your personality, which has happened. For instance, claiming someone else's achievements as your own during a casual conversation is relatively harmless. Pretending to know influential people to impress others is also harmless. Misrepresenting your job title to strangers is harmless unless they end up in your workplace unexpectedly. These are just figments of reality. It's similar to using an old credit card. There's also false modesty growing more common. This is usually impulsive, resulting from social pressure. It's not representative of strong character, but even strong individuals may indulge. Ernest Hemingway, a great writer, was known to act recklessly at times. However, this harmless boasting differs from serious lies. Serious lies involve planning and premeditation. For example, a supervisor stealing an employee's idea and taking credit involves a series of deceptive actions. This type of lie is dangerous. It's not just stealing an idea, but also the CEO's perception of reality. Or falsifying financial reports to inflate stock prices, creating illusions for investors. These instances have occurred, often ruining lives and careers. In my experience, those who engage in serious lying or unethical acts usually get caught. Often the deceived individuals realize the false realities imposed on them. Even if not, the deceiver loses their grasp of reality by believing their own lies. All forms of dishonesty, minor or major, stem from fear that the truth about oneself isn't good enough. They stray from honesty. Some secretly worry about creating their own IDs, so they steal others or fear their business won't thrive. They find a way to boost stock prices. This is cowardly. Remember courage, fearing the right thing at the right time in the right way. Don't fear revealing your true self or your past actions or future plans. Trust in yourself and your ability to earn respect. Pay the cost of honesty at once, because over time, it's a good deal. In leadership positions like business or family head, honesty and integrity are more important than money or shelter, even a phone. These qualities are as vital as air, food, and water. For a leader, honesty and integrity are survival essentials. Many business people forget how closely their employees watch them. Think back to observing your teachers in school. No doubt you picked up on subtle changes in their tone, all those small hints that revealed different layers of meaning. That helped you tell when they were bluffing or serious. After 8 or 9 months, you knew your teacher well. Imagine after 5 or 10 years. Your workers probably know you very well now. If you haven't been completely open with them, you haven't fooled them. If you think you have, they're probably scared of you. That's a problem itself. However, staff want to trust their leaders. If you give them a reason to, they won't seek reasons not to. They'll notice your positive traits as much as the negative ones. I heard a story about an incident at a Midwest company. A new employee's wife had complications during childbirth. The medical bill was over $10,000, and insurance wouldn't cover it due to the short employment period and pre-existing condition. The desperate employee asked the CEO for help. The CEO agreed, and suddenly the bill disappeared. When the employee praised the CEO's influence on the insurance company, his co-workers simply smiled. The CEO had personally paid the bill. Dishonest acts can't be hidden and undermine a leader's authority instantly. But acts of integrity are just as visible. As a leader, how you're seen is your choice, but you will be seen. Family leadership requires even higher standards of honesty and integrity. The stakes are higher, too. You can replace unhappy employees or find a new job, but families aren't cards to be shuffled. Kids are excellent moral philosophers, if you haven't noticed. As teenagers, they start uncovering any dishonesty or integrity issues from authority figures. This is terrifying for parents, as kids can be harsh about this. However, it isn't a conscious choice they make. It's just an essential part of growing up. They are testing everything as new parents. In Arthur Miller's play, Death of a Salesman, it's hard to think that a son would lose faith in his father because of one dishonest act. Once a parent loses moral authority, it's tough to get it back. Research shows that children are very understanding. If you accidentally crush a favorite toy, they'll forgive quickly, if not forget. If you lose your job and the family needs to move, they'll adapt. If parents split up, most kids can cope, but dishonesty is hard to handle. It can take many years before that is forgiven. Many people have photos of their kids on their desks. Are the pictures there to remind us of their faces or show them off to visitors? There's a more crucial reason for these pictures. They remind us what's at stake when we make important decisions. We all make such decisions daily. If you have integrity, it will be easy to teach your child about it. It will also be easy for them to accept you as their teacher. It's a great opportunity, but also a big responsibility. Children must learn to tell the truth, mean what they say, and say what they mean. The Indians of the Southwest had interesting skills important for their children, like hiding. In a desert where there seems to be no place to hide, Indian children could still vanish. Running was another crucial skill. From a young age, they were taught to run long distances while holding water to develop breath control. Both running and hiding were life-saving skills. Kids today need to learn skills that will save their lives. Integrity is one of those crucial skills. Maybe it's difficult to convince yourself of its importance. I heard a story about a man who flew anti-submarine planes for the Navy. He talked about an incident when they faced a navigational problem during a storm. The issue worsened when the navigator confessed he cheated parts of his training. The training material seemed irrelevant. I can't guarantee teaching integrity will save their lives. But nothing is more important than teaching children integrity. There's a saying, those who can do and those who can't teach. But honesty can only be taught by someone honest. The same goes for integrity. Before, I hinted that sometimes bending the truth a bit could be suitable. I want to revisit that idea. It may seem like we should always tell the full truth in every situation for consistency's sake. But life has taught me it's not always that simple. Shakespeare once wrote about a character. He has flaws, and honesty is one of them. He is too honest. Just like there's a difference between exaggeration and dishonesty, there's a difference between lying and strategic communication. How do you know the difference? Your instincts will guide you. By adulthood, most of us have a strong sense of right and wrong. We might ignore it, but it's always there. If you're a leader, I believe there are times when it's okay to stretch the truth. Here's an example. You can overstate your excitement for your employees' work. Use more praise than criticism. Your approach should include 3 compliments for every critique. Will this cost you respect? I doubt it. Will being positive boost productivity and morale? Absolutely, studies support this. Praise is a powerful tool for teaching and leadership. Criticism is counterproductive unless necessary. Vince Lombardi, legendary Green Bay Packers coach, knew the importance of boosting people's self-esteem. You would have seen this if you watched his team practice. Lombardi was unimpressed when a young quarterback made several successful passes. He asked him to start making mistakes, and he did. We can call it diplomacy or flattery, but it often brings out the best in people. It keeps our interactions running smoothly. Honesty is important, But sometimes less honesty can be better. We've been discussing honesty and integrity towards others, but let's now focus on what these mean for our relationship with ourselves. A term from psychology, cognitive dissonance, is useful here. Let's consider a man who advises people on personal finance. He helps those in debt and sometimes advises bankruptcy. One day, he announces he's closing his business due to stress. It's stressful. Imagine dealing with one person after another who's in financial trouble every day. Surprise. I'm the one struggling financially. I can't keep up with my bills, even my car payment. After advising on debt risks all day, I hate seeing myself in the mirror. This man is dealing with conflicting self-images. The pressure drains him completely. He's a good person and believes in doing what's right, but he knows he's not being honest. Many high-ranking professionals secretly know they're projecting a false image. The need to compete and always do better can tempt us to put on a facade. It's not just about exaggerating, it's about hiding the truth about ourselves. We all play roles in life, but honesty and integrity make it easier. Ethics and psychology intersect here. It's easier and morally correct to reduce this conflict. Dishonest gains don't lead to true success in the long run. As you grow older, you understand that dishonesty doesn't pay off. I've seen people earn millions using shady business methods and face health issues. Some betray friends or partners for money. These people look much older than their actual age. Keep watching and you'll see it's true. Dishonesty leads to loss, not necessarily of money, but self-respect. You might have everything, but without self-respect, what do you really have? True success comes with pride in your achievements. That's practical advice. Take it to heart.
I'm Rohn Mike.
Promotional copy.
Cashier Royal. Total. Turinde ko ng style.